Another large school district sticks with its mask mandate after local politicians vote to opt out. A lesson learned from another district that flip-flopped on masks early in the school year. We learned the cost of a county clerk's flirtation with far-right conspiracy theorists as her county signs a deal for new voting systems. A mother reflects 2 years after her son's death and how it became national news.
I talk to Elijah almost every day. You know, I honor his life. I remember his death, you know, every day.
And bringing a special and especially expensive ritual of young adulthood to more Coloradans. That's next. Mask mandates in some of Colorado's largest school districts are a confusing mess for families because Tri-County Health Department is allowing politicians to weigh in on public health orders. Republicans in Douglas County opted out of the school mask mandate, yet Doug Coast Schools is keeping the mask mandate. Today, Democrats in Adams County opted out of that same school mask mandate. They seem to be upset that an opt-out was offered to counties in the face of political pressure. And yet again, the school district, Adams 12, is holding firm on requiring masks. Parents and students are caught in the middle trying to keep up. Here's Steve Staker.
If we could go ahead and stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Adams County Commissioners didn't even plan to talk about a mask mandate today.
I want to go ahead and have a motion to approve agenda with a couple exceptions.
Then the crowd came.
I have a feeling some of you are here for that conversation. Yeah.
The public health order passed by Tri-County Health last week requiring kids 2 to 11 to wear masks. It came with a provision. Counties can opt out. A provision aimed to please the Republican county commissioners in Douglas County who threatened to leave Tri-County Health if they weren't given more say in restrictions. They opted out of this order almost immediately, saying masks weren't necessary in their schools.
I'm not an anti-masker. I believe in masks.
Today, 3 of the 5 Democrats on Adams County's board who said they believe masks work voted to opt out too.
And I, along with all my colleagues here, believe that the public health order was right, but the fact that they put an opt-out and decided to make it political and put it on the political side of it, as opposed to actually being our health board and making health orders, is wrong.
Only Commissioners Emma Pinter and Steve O'Dorisio voted to keep the mandate.
It is our job to take the recommendation of those members of the Board of Health who, quite frankly, have put their lives on the line, who have feared for their safety this past year and a half.
In the end, the board voted 3-2 to essentially let someone else handle this.
The three-prong approach of Adams County, Arapahoe County, and Douglas County cannot stand as long as the opt-out provision remains.
Commissioner Lynn Baca even suggesting that Adams County try the Douglas County playbook, threatening a divorce from the Tri-County Health Department.
This is a clear example of why Adams County needs to stand up our own health department.
So what does this all mean? It means it's up now to the individual school districts to decide whether or not to enforce a mask mandate. We've already heard from Adams 12 5-star schools this afternoon. They say they will keep the mandate in place even with this vote. As for the proposition for Adams County to stand up its own health department, one of Baca's own colleagues reminded her, and she acknowledged that would be expensive, but she still believes that Adams County ought to consider it, Kyle.
So, Steve, what we're seeing in a number of suburban counties is a very clear strategy where you've got the anti-masker parents who go in, they yell at the county commissioners, they jeer at them, that sort of thing, and get one of these meaningless votes from the county commissioners against the mask mandate, and then they take that and beat the school district over the head with it.
Yeah, we keep hearing from this same crowd that shows up at these meetings that the next step now is to go to the school board and demand this out of the school board, and now they can say, hey, the county commission opted out of this. Maybe it's time for the school district to opt out of this. By the way, the only county left in Tri-County, Arapahoe County, has asked for feedback on the mask mandate for a study session next week. They're going to have a study session on August 30th, and then on August 31st, they'll decide whether or not they're going to take any sort of action.
Interesting to see Douglas County and Adams County commissioners walk away from this for totally different reasons. Steve, thank you. The mask policy up in Thompson School District in Larimer County, it changed after their school year had started. Masks were not required for the first few days of classes, and then a mandate went into place this week. requiring masks for students, staff, and teachers pre-K through 8th. Tonight, we continue our series of conversations with parents on Next. We're asking the same question each time. What is it that the rest of us in Colorado can learn from their school district's experience with COVID this year? Meet Timothy Parker.
As a parent and as administration, sometimes we got to look at the big picture, not just what's right in front of us. And especially, I think how we handle ourselves when disagreeing about such matters is really important. I want my kids to watch how I interact with the board and how I email and how I communicate and say, okay, that's how you handle something that you disagree with. I was very intentional about not being upset, I was frustrated, but not getting angry, not yelling, not screaming, because, the moment that happens, people stop listening.
We would love to hear from parents across Colorado on this. What is it that we can learn from your community's experience, for better or for worse? I read every single email that comes to next@9news.com. Imagine for a moment what it is like to be a gay or lesbian student at Valor Christian High School. Those students just saw a very popular coach at the school leave because he was told that he could not be openly gay. And today, those students saw some of their classmates walk out to tell Valor Christian's adults that it is not Christ-like to punish someone for who they are. The walkout at Valor Christian in Highlands Ranch featured students from that private school as well as some neighboring schools. They protested in support of the former volleyball coach, Inoki Tonga, and also in support of their LGBTQ classmates, who they say are subject to disrespect and discrimination at Valor.
I care because discrimination and homophobia based off of who you love or how you identify has no place in a modern society.
Valor says that Coach Tonga signed a statement affirming his alignment with the school's version of Christian beliefs when he first got hired there. And as a religious private school, Valor has certain exceptions when it comes to discrimination laws. Mesa County's elections clerk is risking her career and perhaps her freedom trying to prove the conspiracy theory that Denver-based Dominion Voting Systems is rigging our elections. While Republican County Clerk Tina Peters is under investigation for a voting systems breach and is in hiding, her county just ordered new voting machines today, extending their contract with Dominion. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger explains why Mesa County stuck with Dominion despite their clerk's conspiracy theories.
And I'm here to tell you, it's getting to where we don't trust you guys anymore.
Mesa County conservatives are at odds with each other. The county commission heard from dozens who want to do away with Dominion voting machines and go to a hand count of elections. But the 3 Republican commissioners ordered new Dominion machines to replace the ones tampered with by Clerk Tina Peters, the ones she had access to with a non-employee with no cameras watching.
I'm just going to be honest. And I voted for Tina, I've supported Tina even through the recall attempt. But if a Democrat clerk had shut off the cameras before bringing in an unauthorized person, not only would you demand the machines be thrown out, you would demand the clerk's resignation.
Not only did the commissioners approve new machines, they extended the contract with Dominion through 2029. 62 Colorado counties use Dominion voting machines for elections. Douglas and Garfield counties use Clear Ballot. Mesa County could have gone with Clear Ballot, but it would have been much more expensive to end the current Dominion contract and get a new company involved.
We break the contracts. Contracts are broken all the time. That's not my moral fiber.
As part of the new contract with Dominion, Mesa County will also pay for this service that Pueblo and El Paso counties tested out last year. Ballot Audit and Review makes it so that every ballot will be scanned and available to be seen online.
You all can see every ballot cast and count them yourselves.
There are 89,000 ballots from Pueblo's 2020 election that you can go see for yourself and compare the ballot image to which candidate or issue got credit for the vote. Remember, ballots do not have your name. The envelope does, and that is not uploaded.
As a stats nerd, that is neat, and it's an extra cost for Mesa County to provide that service, $3,300 per election. Transparent for sure. But Colorado's clerks in the Secretary of State's office do their own risk-limiting audits, and Dominion's machines pass those tests every single time.
So Clerk Peters is in an interesting situation. So she's been stripped of her role running the elections, but she's still getting paid to be the clerk, despite the fact that she is being hidden somewhere in America by the pillow guy, Mike Lindell, who supports her conspiracy theories.
And Commissioner Scott McGinnis said he's concerned about morale for the rest of her office, for like license plates and other duties from the clerk and recorder's office. He heard from her third hand, he said, and he thinks the people in the crowd have direct contact with her, and he told them to tell her to come home, and we can provide, Mesa County, can provide security if she needs it from threats that may be happening.
I would just say, Marshall, like if our boss fled town and was being hidden away by the My Pillow guy, we would have concerns. Just you and me. We would.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Marshall. Hey, we've got our first congressional candidate in a district that has not yet been carved out in Colorado. State Representative Yadira Caraveo is the first Democrat to announce that she's going to run for Colorado's new 8th congressional district. It has not been drawn. Preliminary map would show it centered around Adams County, which includes where Caraveo lives in Thornton. Next month, we'll see an updated version of the map, but Caraveo, who's a pediatrician as well as a state lawmaker, isn't waiting for that.
We just, heard last week that Adams County is now a majority-minority district, and we've never had a Latina in Congress from Colorado. We need the voices of people with a science background. In the legislature, whether it's at the state level or in Congress, they make decisions every single day that have that affect our health. But most of the people serving there don't have a healthcare background.
We'll see if her entry convinces other Democrats to stay clear of a primary. There is one other person in the mix, a Republican unknown, Juliana Gray, also filed paperwork to run for Congressional District 8. Even if the boundaries change, good reminder, you don't have to live in the district to represent it in Congress. We know his name. We know his story. His mother wants to make clear, we don't know him.
The world doesn't know Elijah. The only ones that really know Elijah are those that went through life with him.
2 years after his death, Elijah McClain's mom is ready to talk about her son and dedicating her life to seeking justice. And an unexpected gift for high school seniors and their families.
We know it's been a tough year and a half plus for people, and it's our way of, using our talents to really give back to the community.
That's next. August 24th is the day McClain's son was stopped while walking home. He had done nothing wrong, but he's quickly wrestled down by Aurora police, put in a carotid hold, and injected with ketamine. Elijah McClain died a few days later. His mother is now speaking out about how her son's death was largely ignored and then became national news. We now know him as the quiet, kind young man who died a violent death seen on body camera video.
To hear his words, he spoke with kindness. He didn't cuss at him. He said he was sorry. He basically was telling him, I'm sorry basically for like being who I am. What do I need to do so that you stop handling me this way? And they just didn't care. You know, he was pleading for his life in so many different ways. He was trying to get some type of human reaction out of them, and it just didn't work. So it was heart-wrenching. It was, you know, it's tragic.
No charges have been filed against the officers involved in Elijah McClain's death. A civil lawsuit against the city of Aurora is close to a resolution. You'll hear much more from the conversation that our Alexander Lewis had with Shani McClain tonight on 9 News at 9 and 10.
You don't need me to tell you it's been hot this summer, but did you know we are in the running in that #3 spot for the hottest summer ever recorded here in Denver? Our running temperature 74.6 degrees, and it only looks to climb from here. Temps this afternoon in the 90s for the metro area, 105 in Lamar, a little cooler up in the mountains, but the 90-degree heat, it makes a comeback tomorrow. Fairly dry until about 3-4 o'clock. These thunderstorms will fire up across the eastern plains, but the urban corridor, we stay dry, still tracking air quality advisories and high fire danger going out to the west. Back to 92 for us tomorrow. Look at that, 102 in Lamar with 70s and 80s up in the mountains. Your 7-day bringing us a better chance of storms Thursday and low 80s by the weekend.
It's a sign that seasons change. The signs don't always. Our viewer Ron stumbled upon this, Peak 7 in Breckenridge, a sign by a nicely groomed trail that says no walking on trail. Well, then why is it there? Ron did some investigating, found this is actually a cross-country ski trail during the winter, so they don't want people walking on it during certain seasons. But in the summer, it's open to hikers.
A lot of families may not be able to afford professional senior photography, so this is a great opportunity for them to be able to get great professional photos at a price that they can afford.
Photographers willing to sacrifice income to make sure that families have beautiful photos. And exotic animals in their natural habitat, aka your backyard. Next. We've seen the pay what you can model in restaurants across Colorado. Getting professional senior photos taken is a whole lot more expensive than a meal, up to thousands of dollars for a session. Unless students and their families work with a group of photographers offering to preserve those memories by allowing families to pay what they can. Our Byron Reed has the story.
At the Golden Ponds Nature Reserve in Longmont,
And this is one of my favorite places to do sessions.
there's more than meets the eye for photographer Linnell Keeling.
It does take a creative eye sometimes to be able to find the right spot and also to know when the right time of day is.
This is one of the locations Keeling has been donating her time to a group called Class of 22 Senior Photos, Pay What You Can, a group of 6 professional photographers who are taking affordable high school portraits for seniors and their families during the pandemic.
A lot of families may not be able to afford professional senior photography, so this is a great opportunity for them to be able to get great professional photos at a price that they can afford.
She says each photographer sets their own photo event on the group's Facebook page, and then families who need senior photos can select a photographer and a location around the metro area.
Because I really love the idea of giving back to my community.
You know, I've had people pay me $40 or $50, and I've had people pay me, $300. It's really whatever is in their budget at the time.
Christy Harvey is one of the photographers and the group's organizer. She says they started the group over the summer after she heard parents were asking around about affordable sessions.
We know it's been a tough year and a half plus for people, and it's our way of, using our talents to really give back to the community and ease up the financial burden.
Both Keeling and Harvey agree they want the attention to be focused on the seniors as they continue to use their eyes to lend a helping hand.
Being able to show their accomplishments and everything that they've done over the last 18 years.
For Next,
I want to be able to show that for them.
I'm Byron Reed.
What a kind idea. Harvey says their photographers are adding more sessions to their Facebook page. They're hoping to sign up some more seniors as the new school year begins. So I take my kids to the park. The Bobcats take their cubs to a Next viewer's house. Everybody needs a place to play. Plus your feedback on masks next. The most Colorado thing we saw today is a Playdate best viewed from a distance. Viewer Heather saw 5 bobcat kittens playing in her yard in Centennial. She says they're regulars around there. They run around, they jump on her deck and play. Usually mom is with them. Didn't see mom this time around. Probably good to give them space either way. Email the most Colorado things you see to next@9news.com. Feedback tonight from Kim Westrick on Twitter, who says, curious if you are requiring your child to wear a mask and breathe in their own germs. Like the germs that were inside them, like breathe. Yes, my 3-year-old does wear a mask. She's never really had an issue with it. I get that some kids probably do. My kid doesn't. She's pretty conscientious about it. She seems to have a better grasp on it than some adults. If you want some stories about my 3-year-old and germs, I've got some food being consumed off of shoes. It's pretty interesting. Gary says, can't tell if you're a liberal or a conservative, and that's refreshing for me watching the show. Gary, I'm unaffiliated. Neither party would want to have me, and I don't know why we all have to be on a team. It seems like that just promotes unhealthy conformity. We'll see you next time.